You're welcome to my channel today with me. My name is Queen Moses, and on this channel I upload a sewing tutorial where we learn how to cut and to sew. Please, if today is your first time of stopping by, please do well to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video you will receive notification. And for my subscribers, I thank you so very much. You are wonderful. I love you. Thank you for your support. On this channel, I promise to be taking us step by step. And you can learn how to sew on this channel without going to shop to learn. So on today's tutorial, I have a material with me. I have a chiffon material with me. So I will be teaching how to cut a butterfly gown with this fabric here. So I have a measurement guide here for butterfly gown. You take your measurement from shoulder to bust length, which is 10 here. From shoulder to under bust length, I have 14 here. From shoulder to half length, or you can call it waist. Then from shoulder to hip length, I have 27. Full length, that is where the gown will stop. It can be a short gown, it can be a long gown. Full length here is 43. Then shoulder measurement. This shoulder measurement is also the sleeve length. In butterfly, where the shoulder, we'll call it, you will take it the shoulder from the center of your back, you take it to where the sleeve stop. So we also call it a shoulder measurement, which is 18 here. Then bust circumference, I have 42 with me. Under bust circumference, I have 36 here. Half length circumference, which is the waist also, I have 38. Then hip circumference, I have 42 here with me. So this fabric here, I have a 2.5 yard, 2 yards and 15 inches. It comes like this, and we want this design to show in front like this. We want this design to be in front like this. So we are going to use the length just the way it is. I'll fold this fabric. You fold it into two like this. This is into two, and you also bring it back to fold it into four. You know, when we cut our fabric, it's not like a drafting pattern again. You have to fold it into four. So it's fold into four now. Remember, I want to use this side, this design side, as the front. So, and it will also be at the upper part, while this side will be the down part. This is how the owner wants it. I'm just arranging the fabric to make sure all of them are equal. So you arrange it very well. This is a very simple gown. You can cut it today and sew it just now. So let me bring my chalk and my scissors. So I want to start now by adding my length measurements from shoulder. So the length here is 23 inches. 23.5 here. So half inch is to join the shoulder, and it will fall back to 23. So having done that, now the next place I will be marking is the full length here is 43, not 23. So I'm using 43.5, half inch to join the shoulder. The down parts can be weaving. I won't hem it, just to weave it. So having done that, I will come to the shoulder. So this neck is going to be a very high neck. Because of this design here, we don't want this design to go off. So we'll be using a high neck, like in form of, it will be, the width will be wider, while the depth will be smaller. So in form of canoe neck. so that this design will still be here. So I will start by marking my shoulder slope. In butterfly like this, if not for this design, this is the part I would have used for the upper part. If not for this design, I would have used this part for upper part, whereby there will be no joining. You can cut it like this and just sew without joining. But if you want to sew it for a young lady, a very young lady, you can still put the shoulder slope. If you want to sew it for mama, rather, you can leave it like this. But I'm using this part because of the design. So let me quickly mark the shoulder slope. You can slant it by 2.5 inches. The shoulder slope. So, and the length sleeve, which is from the shoulder, the back, from this point now, this is your back leg point, you take it to where the sleeve will stop. From this back neck point, you place your tape like this and place it and mark where the sleeve will stop. It can be here, it can be here. So for this person is 18 inches. That is here. That is what we are using for the shoulder, which is also the sleeve. So let me mark the sleeve now. 18. It just the way this fabric comes. So 18. I'm marking that 18. If there is more space, you can make it 18.5. So when you weave it, the other half inch is for, I'm just arranging my fabric now very well, this part. So this is my 18. I've already marked the shoulder slope from that 18. And let me mark my neck line now. I will use this neck to be 4 like this. That is the width. I'm using 4, while the depth I'll use 2 inches. Or I can make this side 4.5. I want the width to be wide, while the depth to be very high, so that this design will not go off. I'm leaving ½ inch for this design so that I can use it to hem the neck. So I will connect my chalk like this from this shoulder point to this 2 inches. Even if you use 5 inches for canoe neck, it's still okay. But this person is a slim person. I don't want the neck to be too wide. So from this angle, you now connect your hand like this. You connect your hand till that shoulder, that neck point. Can you see now? It's very simple. From the 2.5 inches, you connect your hand to the neck point. And you cut it out. Like this. I'm cutting back and front the same thing, because there is no zip, so that the neck, you can pass it on your head. So like this now, you cut the shoulder slope down. And this, I've finished cutting this gown. You can now open it like this. You can now open it like this. And cut the down, split it. Because of the way that I fold the fabric, I want the design to be at the upper part. So this is what we have. This is the back, and this is the front. This is the front. I want, when I fold it, this place will be like this. I want this design to show. So this is what I'm trying to get. This is what I'm trying to get. The shoulder slope, the neck cutting, and just straight like this. Straight like this, the same thing you're taking. Then time to close it is when you now get this one with the measurement. You mark it from the bust point to under bust point to hip circumference down. Then there will be a slit at the down so that the person can walk freely. That is why I stopped my drawing here. So this is the shape I will go to machine. After joining the shoulder, fold the neck, I will go to machine and get this shape out. Thank you. So I want to start joining the shoulder now with machine. So you hold the two shoulder like this, which is also your sleeve, and you join it like so. I'm joining the wrong side now. You do the same thing to this side. Join the wrong side also. This. After joining it like this, you can now iron the shoulder first. Let me go to the machine and iron the table rather and iron it. So when you want to iron, open the allowance inside. You can sprinkle small water and iron it like this for neat work. And whenever you want to iron any fabric that is light, this is what I normally do. You pick a pieces like this of that fabric and you test it on your iron to be sure that the iron is okay for the fabric, so that your fabric will not burn, your dress will not burn. Please always check your iron. You need a low heat to iron a fabric like this. I'll do the same thing to this side of the shoulder. Back to machine now. So we can fold the neck and close the body. Okay, so now I want to turn the neck inside with bias. I have bias with me. Let me use the one I have here. So you place your bias from this. You can start anywhere, but let me start from the back. You see the bias, it has a guideline. This is where your thread should be passing. They've ironed it like this. This is where your thread should be passing when you're sewing with bias. So I'm starting now to hem the neck. And when you're sewing a round neck, make sure you're turning your hand round like this. Don't just sew straight, so that the round neck will form very well. You have to turn your hand like this. hope you're seeing. Sorry. When you get to this point, that point where you start, the starting point, you stop. Cut out your thread. Make sure you always cut out thread for your work to be neat. So I will cut the bias now, the remaining bias, but I will remain something like this, just like 1/4 inch for each of the side. I remain 1/4 inch for this bias to use and join the bias for joining, because I have to join the two edges together. So you hold it like this, you open the bias now like this for each of this line to align together like so, and you close the bias first. So when you close it, you now stitch it again to connect the both thread together, both the side you started sewing and this ending part, you connect it together. You stitch it together so that it will not lose, like this, and you mesh the thread together. You can now turn to the back side, the wrong side, like so. From that point, where you started hemming, you fold in your bias. See how it is? You fold in this line, this sewing line again, this part that is iron on the bias, you fold in like this. This is how your work should be when you're piping something with bias. You're piping a neck or a sleeve, whatever you're piping. So you start by stitching it now, and you keep turning it again. Bring your hand, curve your hand round. I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. Keep curving your hand like this. This part has a design, a white this thing, so I will not allow my thread to climb on top. I can stop my stitching here. I will stop there and move a little to cross that design. Then later I can use a needle or hemming gum to tack that place so that the thread will not show on this design. Remember the design in front. I want the blue thread to climb on top of that design now. So I'm starting this side again. You stitch it also, and you keep moving like this. cutting the thread now. Make sure you always cut your thread for your work to be neat. So see that the work is very easy. I'll now go to table to mark the measurement from bust to under bust to hip, like so, like close the butterfly. So I've pinned the whole side together for it to steady one place. I will start from the shoulder now to mark the measurement to close. The bust point is 10. This is 10. So for me to know where my armhole, which is the round sleeve, where she can pass her hand, will fall in, I will come up by 2 inches. You know, our bust, our armhole normally fall after bust point, come up by 2 inches. Or because of this design, I will mark 8.5 instead of 8. I would have used 16, but I don't want it to climb on this design, so I'm marking 8.5. This 8.5 now will serve as my handhole also, where the hand will pass. So I will do the same thing this side, but this side now I can turn it this way, the back side, to mark the 8.5. Whatever I mark on this side, I will mark it also this side, 8.5, like this. Then I come back to this point again. Under bust is 14. When we are cutting, we use 14.5 because of the joining of the shoulder, but now that I finished joining, I'm going to use the 14 because I finished joining the shoulder, so I'm using 14 inches. I will also mark the waist, which is the half length, 17. I'll use 17 because we finished joining the shoulder. I will go ahead and mark my hip length from that 17 is 27. I'll mark the 27. So these are the length measurements. I will turn it this way. From that armhole line, I'll mark my under bust the same 14, the same way I marked the other side, and mark a half length 17, and move to my hip length also 20. Make sure your tape is balanced. 27. So I'm through now with the length measurements. I will now come to the bust measurements. So let me quickly explain something to you. When you're taking measurements like this, in the other video I said if you want to have a perfect measurement, like now that is 42, you free it by 1 inch. That is his allowance. But on this butterfly now, I'm going to add, not to free by 1, I will free by 3 inches. Like if it's my measurement now 42, I'm going to free it by 3 inches to get from 42 to 45. But for this person, the measurement, the bust measurement, yes, the bust circumference was 40 inches. Sorry, was 39 inches. So I free it by 3 inches. That is why I'm having this 42. because there will be no zip on this butterfly. You can call it a bubu dress. There will be no zip, so for easy wear you have to free it by 3 inches, or even if for elderly person, for advanced person, you have to free it by 4 inches for free wear, or 5 inches, but 3 inches is okay for this person. She's a young lady. So I will start now by marking this 42. I will divide it by 4. Divide 42 by 4. Sorry, the dress is now open, so I will divide it by 2 rather. It's now open, so I will divide it by 2. 42 divided by 2. I will have a 21. I'll mark my 21 here. Then you measure from that 21 to this ending part. I have 15 inches here. So you divide 15 by 2. We will have a 7.5. So 7.5 now is where my measurement will start from. This is the bust measurement. If you check, because of the shoulder slope, this side now will have 8.5. This side will be shorter than 8.5. 14 inches here is still okay, because here is bigger, here is smaller, so it's still okay for the 7.5. So let me quickly go to, I will mark the, it's still okay for the 7 inches rather. So I will go to back side and mark this other side and mark the 7.5 on the same this thing, the bust length, 7.5. I'm trying to make it easy for beginners so that you can sew butterfly gown for this period. So under bust circumference is 36. 36 divided by 2, that will be 18 inches. I will mark my 18 inches, and from that 18, that point now, I will measure to this ending part, and what I have here is 18 inches. Okay, it's 18 inches, so you can fold your tape into 2 to get the 18, which is 9 inches. So you mark 9 inches this way. You also come to this side and mark 9 inches this way. Half length circumference, which is the waist, is 38. So 38 divided by 2 will give me 19. I mark my 19 inches here. Then I will measure this part, the remaining one. I have 17. You can fold your tape like this and measure from that 17. What I have here is 8.5. So I will mark my 8.5 here, and also come to this side for the half length part. I will mark also 8.5. So having done that, I'll move again to my hip length. The hip is 42. 42 divided by 2 is 21 rather. 42 divided by 2 is 21. So I mark my 21, and I have 15 inches here. I will divide it by 2, which is 7.5 rather. 15 inches divided by 2 is 14 inches and a half. 14.5 inches. So from this part now, for me to know how, I'll go to machine and sew my thread from this line to this line, from this line to this line, like this. For beginners, I want you to see. That is why I'm just marking chalk everywhere like this for you to see. So this my line now will not get to the down part. I can remain space here because it's a short gown, it's 3/4, just the way the length comes. That is how we are using it because of this design. So I can remain 7 inches here for slit. Then I'll turn to the back also, connect my chalk from this angle to this angle, connect it like this, and connect it to the hip, and also sew it straight. I also remain a slit, the 7 inches, right, that I mark here. Let me check again. 7 inches. So I will mark the same 7 inches. This part, this down part, I'll mark 7 inches. This gown you're seeing here is a short one, but this method we use to cut this gown and to sew is the same thing. It's the same method you can use to extend the length to make it long gown. So let me go to machine quickly and close the gown now. So according to my marking now, I'll just start and close this down like this. I've already pinned each of this line, so that's why I'm just closing it like that. But you have to still check and make sure they are equal. Sure you arrange it equal. And you stitch it. I'm just following the chalk the way I marked it. Cut your thread. Then you turn to the back. Follow your marking also. Then cut your thread. Remember the sewing now, I'm sewing in front. You can see that is the front that I marked. I'm sewing in front. You don't sew it at the back, you sew in front. That is how we sew butterfly down. I'm just following my chalk now. When you stitch it, you can see that the gown is ready now. I've finished sewing my gown. So now after joining it, I will start by cleaning my chalk now. I'm cleaning the chalk. I just mark the chalk everywhere just for you to see it. So you can see that the butterfly gown is ready now. Very beautiful, very beautiful. For beginners, it's very simple for you to cut. Just cut and sew. I want to see a comment. Tell me how you make your butterfly gown. Thank you so very much for watching. See you in my next video. Thank you.